Donald Trump and Keir Starmer, two figures you'd never expect to share a warm rapport, are suddenly the center of one of the most unexpected diplomatic storylines of the year. After days of speculation, Downing Street has finally confirmed that the long-awaited call between President Trump and Prime Minister Starmer has taken place. But this was no ordinary call. What we've learned from both governments' official statements is as fascinating as it is perplexing. And yes, the discrepancies between No 10's glowing readout and the White House's far more muted version are raising questions. Was this really a meeting of minds, or has Starmer just been left in the political cold by his American counterpart? But first, here's a quick detour to another related debate. Matt Goodwin weighs in on whether Britain should reduce foreign aid and follow Donald Trump's America First model. Check out this clip. Nigel Farage says Donald Trump has secured an incredible personal victory. Wow.
Sure.
I mean, clearly Mandelson wants the job.
Yeah.
But actually, what this does represent is an incredible personal victory for Trump.
Oh, it definitely does. I mean, what's happened is that all the never-Trumpers, all the people who said he was, a white nationalist, all of that, they've all come to heel. They've all essentially bent the knee.
To heel?
They have. They've submitted. I mean, look at Peter Mandelson. And also, he was so insincere. I mean, I know Peter, I like him. But when he was doing that thing on Fox News, it was almost as if something had been, stuffed in his backside for him to just say, oh, Donald Trump has won fresh friends. I don't think he believes that. I think he has to say that to get his job ratified. And it's quite embarrassing. I think it will be embarrassing for Peter. And the person who will be enjoying it most
loving every minute of it
will be Donald Trump.
Now, one person I bet it was not bending the knee to Donald Trump is Lloyd Russell Boyle. Or do you have a sneaking admiration for him?
Look, I do think that we've got to have a sneaking admiration of how he has managed to turn around a failed presidency of the last one, where he kind of left in a bit of a disgrace, almost kind of in the middle of COVID. It didn't seem to have worked out, to something where he's faced 2 assassination attempts, managed to survive them both and win an election very well. So I don't think any Democrat, and I'm a Democrat first, can dismiss that and dismiss that movement, and also the acknowledgement, I think, that probably us wokies went a bit too far, and we need to recalibrate how we see the world. Yeah. But equally, I don't think that means that we need to give up and suddenly start licking someone's rear end. No. And I suspect that video from Peter is probably a bit
He said it's insincere.
If you remember, Peter said on his second election night, I am a fighter, not a quitter. You remember that?
Yeah.
And that's what Peter is.
I tell you what, let's just change gear for a second. We know he's very clever. We know.
Peter or Donald?
I watch him. Donald's sharp.
Yes.
Yeah. Very, very sharp. Yeah. Peter is intelligent in a different kind of way. I watched him as European Commissioner. I was diametrically opposed to him, but I had to admit his mastery of detail was remarkable.
Look, I think he's
But can you?
Now, back to the main plot. It's worth remembering that the transatlantic relationship is one of the most important ties Britain has. Historically, UK prime ministers have been eager to secure their spot as the first leader to receive a phone call from a newly inaugurated US president. But this time, Starmer had to wait, patiently, we might add, while Trump dialed up leaders from China, Saudi Arabia, and even El Salvador before getting around to Britain. It didn't go unnoticed. Downing Street's deputy spokesperson was visibly uncomfortable just days ago when journalists pressed for answers on why the call hadn't yet happened. His awkward insistence that it was not unusual did little to stop the speculation. When the call finally came, the contents were carefully orchestrated, or so we're being told. According to Downing Street's readout, Trump began by offering his condolences for the loss of Starmer's brother, who tragically passed away on Boxing Day last year. Starmer reportedly thanked the president for his kind words before turning the conversation to more substantive issues. They discussed a range of topics, including the Middle East, where Trump's efforts to secure a ceasefire in Gaza have dominated headlines. Starmer commended Trump's leadership in this area, a moment that No 10 has framed as evidence of the close and warm ties between the two nations. But here's where things get interesting. While No 10's statement emphasized how productive the conversation was, even teasing that the two leaders had agreed to meet soon, the White House's account paints a different picture. Their statement focused on the basics. Trump extended condolences, praised the royal family, and discussed the economy in general terms. There was no mention of a future meeting. Was this an oversight or a deliberate omission? Either way, the contrasting narratives are fueling speculation that all may not be as rosy as Downing Street would have us believe. Some critics suggest that Starmer, eager to prove himself on the international stage, might be overstating the significance of this call. Trump's previous comments about Starmer have been cordial but hardly effusive. Just yesterday, he described Starmer as having done a very good job so far, which is nice enough, but certainly not a ringing endorsement. For someone like Trump, who thrives on grandiose declarations, the lukewarm praise is telling. Could this be a sign that Trump isn't entirely sold on Starmer's leadership? Meanwhile, whispers from within diplomatic circles suggest that the delay in Trump's call wasn't just a matter of scheduling conflicts. Some insiders believe it may have been a deliberate snub, a subtle reminder that Trump holds the cards when it comes to the so-called special relationship. Others point to Starmer's past criticisms of Trump during his presidency as a potential factor. Could this be Trump's way of reasserting dominance? And if that weren't enough drama, the conversation around the UK-US trade relationship adds another layer of intrigue. Downing Street's statement highlighted Starmer's efforts to deregulate and stimulate growth in the UK economy, a move that seems aimed at appeasing Trump's well-known preference for pro-business policies. Yet the White House's reference to promoting a fair bilateral economic relationship has raised eyebrows. The phrasing is being interpreted by some as a veiled warning that the US expects a better deal out of any future trade negotiations. For Starmer, this could mean walking a tightrope between appeasing Trump and protecting British interests. The apparent disparities between the two leaders' priorities could signal trouble down the line. Starmer, for instance, emphasized the importance of Middle Eastern security during their conversation, but Trump's past behavior has shown a tendency to view such issues through an America First lens. If Trump is more interested in what the UK can do for him rather than fostering a truly reciprocal partnership, Starmer could find himself at a disadvantage. As this diplomatic drama unfolds, another storm is brewing in the tech world. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has launched a scathing attack on Elon Musk, calling for the immediate removal of a harrowing video linked to convicted killer Axel Rudakabuna. The footage, which Rudakabuna reportedly watched just minutes before embarking on a deadly killing spree in Southport, remains accessible on Musk's social media platform X. Despite regulators successfully pressuring other platforms like Google and TikTok to take the video down, Musk has yet to act. Speaking on LBC, Farage didn't hold back, describing the video's availability as completely unacceptable. His remarks have reignited the debate over the responsibility of tech companies to police harmful content, a debate Musk has so far resisted engaging in. And as if things couldn't get more chaotic, Labour's Rachel Reeves is facing questions about what she plans to do with a surprise 5.2 billion Bitcoin windfall. The cryptocurrency, seized from a Chinese money laundering syndicate, is now sitting in Treasury coffers, waiting to be spent. Reeves has hinted that the funds could help plug Labour's infamous black hole in public finances, but not everyone is convinced this is the right move. Jacob Rees-Mogg, never one to shy away from controversy, has urged Reeves to act quickly, arguing that holding onto the Bitcoin risks legitimizing crypto. Others, however, warn that spending the money without careful consideration could backfire, particularly given the unpredictable nature of cryptocurrency markets. From the diplomatic chess game between Trump and Starmer to Farage's battle with Musk and the unexpected Bitcoin bounty, one thing is clear: the political landscape is as unpredictable as ever. Starmer's team is working hard to spin today's call as a success, but questions remain about whether Trump sees Britain as an equal partner or just another player in his game. What's next? A meeting between the two leaders? A trade deal that could make or break Starmer's standing at home? Only time will tell. For now, all eyes are on how this transatlantic relationship unfolds in the weeks and months ahead. And as always, if you want more updates on these explosive stories, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and stay tuned. We're bringing you all the twists, turns, and scandals as they happen.